morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to take a look at a new supporter card, which I've just translated from Japanese to English, and the name's a little bit weird. I'm fairly sure that the name here literally translates as scary older brother, but in the Pokemon universe, this is Ruffian. Although I think scary older brother is just a better way to phrase it. But let's just call it Ruffian for now. We got ourselves a new supporter card, and I'll be honest, when they said they were revealing a supporter card, I kind of thought they were going to go and give us a new secret rare. They're not. It's a regular supporter, but it's one that could be kind of fun. What you do is you choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, and you discard a Pokemon tool and a special energy from that Pokemon. You get to get rid of a tool and a special energy. However, they do have to be from the same Pokemon. So it's choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, and then from that Pokemon you discard a tool and a special energy. And you know what? Yeah. Like most of the time, this is going to end up being for special energy. These kind of supporters are. But let's talk about tools for a minute, because we're actually just about to lose in the rotation our best Pokemon tool removal. Right now, if you're thinking Pokemon tool removal, you're going, oh yeah, Lost Vacuum. Like that's what everybody's using. Problem with Lost Vacuum is it came around in Lost Origin. And this new card is from Battle Partners. And Battle Partners is Scarlet and Violet 9. And what happens the day Scarlet and Violet 9 comes out? Rotation. Rotation happens. So we're going to lose our best tool removal. So frankly, and look, having a supporter to remove tools is not the same. But sometimes you need to get rid of tools. Like, obviously, it would be better if we could go, here's an item card to get rid of your tool. Most of the time, the preferable situation is using an item to get rid of a tool rather than using your supporter for the turn. And when we have a choice, yeah, that's better. We don't really have a choice. So, I mean, we've got Megaton Blower, which will discard all tools and all special energy. It's basically like a hypercharged version of Ruffian. It's also your A-spec for the game, the only one you can have in your deck. And I think at this stage, like, Megaton Blower's been around for long enough for us to know it's not a particularly good card. So let's not get too excited about that. We do have Jamming Tower, which can turn off tools. Doesn't get rid of them, but it does turn them off, which honestly sometimes will be good enough. Like sometimes just playing Jamming Tower and turning off tools for a turn is going to be good enough, and that's lovely. But the problem with that is it's a stadium card. Although it is actually a pretty good answer to annoying tools, it's also a stadium. But we know there are some decks that really need to use, for instance, Area 0 Underdepths. They can't play Jamming Tower. That's just an example. There's plenty of other decks that need plenty of other stadiums. We don't want to be locked into having to play a stadium. And in terms of other tool removal, we don't have any other trainer-based tool removal. We got Megaton Blower that gets rid of everything, and we've got Jamming Tower that stops tools, doesn't get rid of them but stops them, but locks you out of using other stadiums. And let's remember, one of the tools we've got coming in Battle Partners is Lily's Pearl, which might as well be Lily's Life Dew. It's Life Dew when attached to a Lily's Pokemon, which is to say you give up one less prize when a Pokemon is attached to gets KO'd. That's a pretty big deal. And like I said, Jamming Tower will work with this. Play a Jamming Tower, Lily's Pearl gets turned off, take the KO, it's on your turn, you play the stadium, you take the KO, you take the correct amount of prizes. But not every deck is going to be able to do that. So I'm talking about this being mostly for special energy, but I really want to push the fact that right now, in the situation where we don't have item-based tool removal, this is actually really good in that regard. Perfect? No! Useful? Yeah, mate. Genuinely pretty useful. But then we get rid of energy, and it's only one energy, and it's only a special energy, but it's still energy removal, and we've done this before. We've seen plenty of supporter cards that remove energy. They are good. They get played in control decks. A lot of the times it is just control decks, but it doesn't have to just be control decks. We see it in a bunch of others, and it's been a little while since we got one of them. I think we've only had a couple in the Scarlet and Violet era. We got Giovanni's Charisma back in 151 that puts an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon into their hand and then lets you attach an energy, which to be fair hasn't really seen much play at all, which is honestly a bit confusing to me because energy removal tends to see some play and energy acceleration tends to see some play. But I think certainly in terms of energy acceleration, this only works if you remove an energy. So it's a little bit annoying that sometimes they won't have an energy and you can't use it. We've also seen Team Star Grunt that puts an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon on top of their deck. This has seen a little bit of play in control decks. Again, it's not been huge. Seen a little bit of play. One of the things about Team Star Grunt, which I actually really like, is that it puts the energy on top of your opponent's deck. So not only does it remove one of their energy attachments, but it also fixes their top deck. So you know they're top decking an energy next turn, rather than say a supporter card or that Pokemon they need or a gusting card or something along those lines. So it can end up being pretty annoying. But in the past we've seen things like Team Yell Grunt puts an energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon into their hand. Now admittedly, worth pointing out that is any energy, basic or special, just like Team Star Grunt was, and this is purely for special, but this is discarding it. And one of the cool things about discarding special energy, it's really hard to get it back. It's very hard to get special energy back. When it's gone, not always, there are ways around it sometimes, depending on the meta, but a lot of the times when it's gone, it's gone. You lose the energy, and then it's in the discard pile, and it's hard to get it back, all right? It's really hard to get it back. So removing this can remove it from the game. It's just a question of how often are you going to be playing enough decks that want enough special energy to make it worth it. Because I think you're going to get a bonus here for the tools. I think the tool removal is going to give you a handy bonus. I don't think the tool removal alone is going to be good enough. Now, there is an argument here that in decks that can't play Jamming Tower, if you're playing anything along the lines of a Pidgeot, for instance, or Noctowl, basically anything that can search out supporter cards, or any card, or any trainer card. But if you can search it out, and you can't play Jamming Tower, then playing this as a one-of, just for, in case of emergency, break glass tool removal, I do actually kind of like that. And a lot of Noctowl decks won't be able to play Jamming Tower. So, maybe there's an option there. Maybe it's a one-of in those kind of decks. Because seriously, if Lily's decks with Lily's Pearl get good, it is going to be a nightmare. And you are going to have a counter for Lily's Pearl. We've not seen that many Lily's cards so far. We've literally only seen Lily's Clefairy, Lily's Comfey, and the aforementioned Pearl. We don't really know how good Lily's decks are going to be in Battle Partners, but there is at least a lot of potential there. And if Lily's decks end up becoming good, you have to be able to get rid of Lily's Pearl, and that's one of the main reasons I look at this and go, yeah. And let's face it, Legacy Energy is still a thing, which is actually very similar to Lily's Pearl, of course. It's any energy, but it also stops Surprise being taken, very much like Lily's Pearl. So there's an argument here that actually Legacy Energy, which is still going to be the ace-spec of choice for Lugia decks, that, this is also really good against Legacy Energy as well. You're only joking, Lugia decks are blatantly rotating out when this becomes legal, but there's still going to be some decks out there that are going to want to use Legacy Energy in some way. But my point is, Legacy Energy, because of the Lugia rotation, it's going to be a much less enticing card. So look, if you need a way to get rid of special energy, this is great. If you need a way to get rid of tools, bearing in mind that's going to become a lot more awkward when this set is out, this is pretty good. I don't think this is going to be a 4-of or any of that. I think it's going to be a 1 or 2 of in decks that can search it out And again, I think a lot of the time this can be replaced by Jamming Tower, and you can get rid of the special energy, but that's going to be less relevant sometimes. But I'm telling you right now, I presume this is going to see a bunch of play. I don't think it's going to be a staple in every deck, but as a tech in a bunch of decks, I do think it's going to be out there. I'm giving it an extremely tentative 4 Wassies. Feels like I might be being a bit too happy here, but I'm going for it, and you can't stop me. But I want to know what you think. I want to know how good you think this card is. I want to know anything you want to tell me, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Star of Dav, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.